I need some live bait to catch some minnows. So in Germany you can buy maggots in every single fishing shop. Here in the United States you can just buy them online and they're quite expensive. So I searched for YouTube videos how to create your own little maggot farm. And there were quite a few ideas, but they all were kind of complicated with tubes inside and huge farms with huge buckets and everything. So I figured, okay, let's create something by myself, which is even cheaper, smaller, and hopefully works as well. So I never did this before. I looked in my kitchen and found something which, by coincidence, fit very, very well. And now I share it with you. So what you need is a sharp knife, a little bit larger screwdriver, a small one, a toothpick, some kind of meat. I have here fish heads I'm using from my striper fishing before, and I had some plastic containers which fit really, really perfectly. So the first plastic container I'm using is this protein stuff from Walmart. So the protein stuff is good as well. I don't know how good it is for your body, but it tastes very good. Anyway, this container is big enough to collect maggots, obviously. The second container you need, or I used, is this yogurt. It's a lemon cream yogurt from Winco Foods, and it's very, very tasty as well. But this is the perfect container we are using today. So let's see what I did. So of course I removed everything from the container from Winco, and then I put some sugar and some whey on the bottom. So the maggots, when they are crawling out of the meat, the juicy, stinky meat, they're falling down, and then they dry off and they get even whiter. This is the theory. I still don't know the result while I'm recording this part of the video, so this is just a theory, but let's see. The second thing is you need this container. And why I'm using this container is very simple. If you're taking this container and putting it inside this, it's the perfect fit. It just fits in there. Oh, really? Is that? So I take this one, and it fits just in there, right? Nice, just like this. And it fits. There's zero gap. It just fits perfectly. Okay. So then you have to make some holes. So here the fish head goes in with some paper, and at the bottom there are holes. So you can make those holes pretty easy by just punching it with this little screwdriver. And the good thing is that this kind of plastic is not cracking. So you're just screwing it in, and then so the maggots have an easier time to crawl outside, I push it with a bigger screwdriver down so they can crawl. So, and then of course I put the fish head in there later, and you can use different stuff. You can, as more rotten, as more stinky, and as more disgusting it is, as better actually. Some people use roadkill, some people use some kind of dead animals they're finding, or just dead live bait, what you don't use anymore, or some years old meat out of the fridge or the freezer, doesn't matter. So what's next? So you have this thing, you put the holes in there, and then you just put paper in it, because otherwise the juices are dripping down, and that's not what you want. So to entirely improve the entire system, I am putting the lid of the yogurt down on top, just like this, in the middle. So if there are still some juices, because the maggots, they are able to feed themselves through the paper and through everything, so the juices are probably coming through those holes. So the juices are dripping down in this lid, but the maggots, they are still able to crawl to the outside into the dry stuff to dry out. And as soon as they are dry, they're not even able to get up here. So this goes on in here, and it's really the perfect fit. This is the reason I have always a slightly hard time to get it on. So then you put the fish head in here, of course without the plastic thing, but I'm not doing it right now. So, and then you have the lid from this. So what you want to do with this lid is, because I'm not doing it on the balcony, I'm putting it out somewhere, and out somewhere there are raccoons and other animals who want to get maybe to the fish head. So I want to prevent this. So I have to put a lid on it, but the flies should still get to the meat. So I cut it out with a knife, just like this. And to hold it open, I just use a toothpick. So I put it just like this in here. And this gap is big enough so the flies can come in. I just screw it on top. I hold the camera with one hand. That's really not a good idea, but it fits perfectly. So, and then you have your finished trap here with the fish head. And what happened is the maggots are going through the holes. And supposedly, following the YouTube videos, the fish head is still frozen, so it has to melt and has to start rotting, stinking. So I give it one more day, but what other YouTube videos say is the maggots are ready to use after 3 days. So this is how I created my little maggot farm thing. I have 2 right now, and I'm putting them out right now. And I will come back. Maybe with, I show you what's happening in between, but no later than in 3 days. And let's see how it turns out. So after 2 days, I checked this little maggot farm. Nothing so far, but as soon as I got closer to this inner thing, I realized 8 flies came out, and yeah, they're definitely interested. And I think because the fish head is this way and the meat is on the bottom, they are crawling all on the bottom. I hope so. So I put a little other fish in there as well because he died. And you see the one or other thing crawling around, but I think you can't see anything so far. So after 2 days, it stinks, and my wife is complaining, but I think it works. Let's see. I have to wait. So I just checked the maggot farm from the park, and this is not gonna work. Not the first try, because I have an issue here. As you can see, ants. So some people are putting them in the trees to protect them from animals like raccoons and stuff like that, but I didn't think about ants. So I have to do it again. Get rid of the ants, put a new fish head or bait in there, and put it somewhere else. And let's see if this time I have more luck. Those ants, of course, they're eating the maggots as well and everything, so that was a fail. The second one. The first one is still doing pretty good on the balcony after 3 days, but this one, no. You can't see it very well, but yeah, the top of the fish head dried off. But down there, it's making pretty good progress. So they're just short or shy of a millimeter. It's doing well. So if I can see, if I look down, I see at least 200 little maggots. So My wife is of course complaining about the smell here on the balcony, so I don't know how long I can still keep them here because the weather is so nice and she wants to sit outside from time to time. So, but it's doing well, but it's actually taking much longer than anticipated or expected. So on other YouTube videos they say 3-4 days. This is the 5th day. I see tons of maggots, but yeah, they still didn't crawl down here, so I still have to wait until they're able to go through this paper. So wait and see. So the first maggot found, I don't know if you can see it right there, found the way down. So they're going through the paper now and start crawling down. So the inner part of the fish head is full of maggots. They're still kind of small. I expected them to be a little bit larger after 6 days now, but they're not. But I give that maximum 1 more day, then they're ready. Nice. So if you do it right, it was a full success, but the juices they're producing in the end is ridiculous. So there's some fatties. The problem was I was hiding it in the dark, so they were all crawling up and not down. So I have plenty now to go fishing with. Perfect size. But yeah, many of them escaped here to the balcony, and that was not the plan. But I think it was a success. I have plenty of maggots now. They're not stinking anymore because they went through the way. So okay, let's pack them up. Done. So the resume of all that is it was a success. I messed it up at the very end. My wife is pissed and has to clean up a little bit, but we have some bait here. They're nice and dry, not stinky anymore, and yeah, a little bit ready to use for fishing. I messed it up at the end. I could have filled up this entire thing here on top with all the maggots I produced, but I didn't. So now the stink is gone from the balcony. I have a second one. I will check this later, but for now I think this maggot farm works. The problem is if you put it in the shadow or something or at night, they are able to crawl out to the top, and the juices they produce, they're way more than expected. So I have to think about it, how to improve this setup. But for now, it definitely worked. I have baits. So, that's the final result. But like I said, it could be way more. But I messed it up. So, now I try to make them a little bit more white. Then I need to go to the fridge to reduce the agility, and so I can fish with them over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks instead of that they are done in 1 or 2 days.
Something is still stinking very bad.
Okay, the best thing at the very end is not to put them in Fleur, because Fleur, they're still producing some kind of moisture, and the best thing is to put it in saw dust. So a little bit bigger flakes, but still the small ones. They preventing the maggots of getting messed up and everything. Yeah, and that this finalizes the first attempt to make your own bait for bait fish.